Hello, this is May 1st, 2020, 3:30 p.m. Again, I don't know why I'm timestamping it. Again, I'm not a hostage or anything, or about to be fucking taken away to a camp or something and branded with Bill Gates vaccine. But I'll avoid controversial and political topics today. I'll stick to something family friendly like Encyclopedic Mind. So, welcome to another edition of Encyclopedic Mind. I'm your host, Zishan Mahmood. It's another ad hoc podcast. I don't have anything written down in front of me, just my to-do list. I got the Brian Tracy Eat the Frog to-do list, A, B, C, D. Just do the hardest thing first and that, so on. But other than that, I don't know what I'm going to talk about. That's why I do these, because right until the very moment, even right now, I don't know what I'm going to talk about. And there's kind of this thrill, performance anxiety of improvisation, of I don't know which topic I'm going to choose. How about animals? Animals is a vast topic. I actually have a Macmillan Illustrated Animal Encyclopedia. Let's do animal. I mean, in my shelf, but I don't know if I should do that or law. How about law? Law. Okay, let's do law again. Before legal disclaimer, the irony. I'm not a lawyer. This is just for entertainment basis. Yeah, let's stick to law. Let's zone in on that again. So law derived from English common law, which derived from ancient Roman law, and there's habeas corpus. First-hand familiar with habeas corpus. Then there's the Miranda rights, which is probably from Miranda, I think. Because I remember from my civics class, Miranda rights, and what's that called? The girl, Brown versus Board of Education, Miranda rights. That's lumped it all together, and we had to learn about these. Then Dred Scott, and then. Who was the other guy? Other slave. Who the free slave? The lawsuit regarding, what was that? Again, I'm sure it deals with legal issues. Oh shit, I forgot. The slave. Dred Scott was back in the, I think, like before 20th century, I guess. I'm not sure. And there was another where. Oh, it'll come to me. So English law, Roman law. And that's why all the legal terms are in Latin. Mea culpa or like quies custodiet ipsos custodiet. I'm not sure if I'm saying it right. Okay, so what else? And then there was influence of those Enlightenment scholars, Montesquieu, Montaigne, that shaped our law constitution, and constitution is a foundation for. And there was Magna Charta. Wow. I actually have a law dictionary in my shelf, but I don't want to look at it, and now I'm drawing blank, basically. Well, what are the important rights, basically? Well, there's Rawlsian concept of John Rawls, social contract theory. These are, and the Hammurabi, Code of Hammurabi is essentially, that's the origin of law, right? The draconian system. Draconian basically means drastic or extreme punishment, and I'm sure that derives from Code of Hammurabi. So back in the days of Gilgamesh and tablets, Babylonian, Assyrian, Sumerian. So, and I'm sure that's how they was codified in codex, and then of course Abrahamic law, Moses, and then the clash between Roman law and Christ consciousness, and then somehow that shaped into English common law, to Age of Enlightenment and Constitution, modern day, and then more contemporary wise we have Geneva Convention and whatnot, Universal Declaration of Human Rights, UN, those treaties. Yeah, law is a vast topic. I actually went to a law library once in Santa Ana, and God, it's like so many obscure books, tomes after tomes. There was another law dictionary, law library I went to. It was in Whittier Law School. I was actually trying to find my own case ticket. So a funny anecdote, I got a ticket. So I tried to be too smart. I read all the books of no law, fight your own ticket. So I find some loophole, like a little mistake by the police officer. He wrote a wrong date, like the date of when I'm supposed to show up. So he put it a year before. So, and I went to the judge. I was nervous, as nervous as I'm right now, and somehow I stutter and mutter out, Your Honor, unless we have a time machine, I don't think there's no way I can attend it. The judge just, God, I mean, he wasn't expecting it, and what? And the judge said, unless you have a time, I mean, that's what I said. Unless you have a time, unless we have a time machine, I don't think there's no way we can attend it. And the judge said, don't be too smart, don't be too fancy with me, or you wouldn't like my hearing. And obviously, these are all kangaroo court and everything. And next time I went there, the same commissioner, I think, I don't know what happened. Like I think I went there for another reason, and the fucking thuggy bailiff was like, deliberately mispronounced my name. My last name is Mahmoud. He said Mohammed, and I said, I pointed it out, and they didn't like that one bit, and they made me wait so that I don't get my audience, the whole court. So I was the last one, and everyone left, and they made me so that I don't do all this sort of quote unquote fancy smart alecky comments. So that's how that is. So sotto voce, that was a punishment, and that's a kangaroo law. I mean, it's good to know your legal rights. First Amendment, Second Amendment. First Amendment is what, freedom of speech, and that's been taken away right now, as we can all see, from censorship, from technological companies, Facebook, YouTube, and whatnot. And it's a piece of paper. If people don't wanna neglect, if people wanna disqualify it, they can do it anytime. Authorities, Patriot Act, and whatnot. So I have a rough, vague idea about the amendments. Fourth is right to be secure in your right against search and seizure. I think fourth. Second is guns. Third is press. I think. Fifth is plead guilty. I think that's one of the most important constitutional right. Pleading guilty. I mean, not pleading guilty. I'm sorry. Pleading my fifth, like plead silence. And even silence is golden. Buddha said that. Speaking of Buddha, remember that time when he had a gathering and he wanted to see who actually got his message. So he went around everyone, and then Koshopa only smiled, and Buddha immediately know he got this Vato got it. Not Vato. I mean, this homeboy got it. Homeboy got my message, and I guess that was his initiation, instead of getting beaten up and shit. So we have that, and constitutional rights. Okay, and then slavery was slavery abolished? 13th Amendment, I think. Yeah, because 13 is unlucky. I remember that unlucky slavery is not good. That's how I remember that. I try not to use mnemonics, but and there's women's right 28, 20, 27, 28. I'm not sure, but there are so many obscure ones. And yeah, the law library is vast. The legal knowledge is vast. And the way usually law works is you get a court and first you have to do, like, I think, discovery. That's the first process. Or you try to, you write to motion of dismissal. Again, I'm not a lawyer. These are just for entertainment basis. Obviously, I have a lot of deficiency, even though I tout it as encyclopedic mind. There are a lot of, obviously, I don't know. No one can, I guess. You can't really literally pull out Clyde Sheldon, weed hunting-esque shit in the court. Like, Your Honor, Ibid, Your Honor, Syncope. You cannot say, I mean, you gotta be super, super duper genius. I think Gardel wanted to get into an altercation, and he also was super genius. And Einstein and other people say, you know what, let's calm down, and then, or else he wouldn't have got his citizenship when he's coming to America. So you get all this super geniuses and dissidents, but even though you're if you can become a super genius and dissident or like rebellion, they're gonna shut you down in no time. So you can never win. And I guess they say only a fool has himself for a lawyer. So I mean, yeah, as much romantic as glorified it might seem, unless you're fucking James Spader, like Alan. I'm not talking about what's his name, Alan. Oh shit, I'm drawing blank. Not Alan Watts. James Peter Allen. Oh shit. Why am I drawing blank right now? But anyway, no, I'm talking about Blacklist, where he defended against all the sort of charges, against treasonous charges, and he carried himself like a brilliant scholar, legal scholar. And I mean, yeah, it's not gonna happen in real life, buddy. Yeah. So discovery, you can do discovery. FOIA is another one. Freedom of Information Act, I think. FOIA, you can hit someone with FOIA, and it's like millions, like the whole What's that called? Not Monsanto. Was it Monsanto? The bear. Like was it DEET or some other chemicals they're using, and they gave like 25 million pages. I didn't even know there could be so many pages. I didn't like how many pages are there in the world? Like how many pages can you actually like exist? Written documents exist. Who knows? So you can do discovery. You can again. I'm not a legal scholar, legal advisor, just for entertainment's purpose. So you can do it if you wanna, even just to carry out the notion. Yeah, you can look for mistakes in the ticket or something. And but yeah, I don't want to defend you. Don't want to defend yourself against murder charges or anything, unless no matter how super genius you are. I mean, if you have von Neumann level of intellect. Von Neumann had eidetic photographic memory, and those are those wild ones. Von Neumann, you have von Neumann automaton theory, and Norbert Wiener, and whatnot, Erdős. So, yeah. Excuse me. When I went to Santa Ana Library, there was a good book. It's called Guerrilla Discovery, and it's all about filled with battle language, like war, battle, fighting language. Essentially, that was it. But you don't want to be aggressive. You don't want to be brash. But my mind is drawing blank. Regarding small legal concepts, like okay, there is what alibi. Alibi is a concept. Alibi, again, it's probably Latin in. And there is omnibus motion. Basically, you have to file motions after motion, and you have to fill out papers. A motion of discovery, motion of dismissal, omnibus motion, all the motions at once, and yeah, motion to extension, motion to dismiss, motion of, I guess, yeah. Well, but I think you can, but even if you want to be like your own lawyer, like get a law degree, you have to go to law school, and you still have to, you literally have to go to law school, even though you want to be be your own lawyer. A lawyer, you gotta have some sort of quote unquote certificate or something, like your law. Pass the board, that's what I'm saying. Pass the board. If you want to pass the board, you still have to go to law school, even though, because you have to spend time in court under the tutelage of some other lawyer. So yeah, but another interesting question is the Constitution, United States Constitution. Is it under the not aegis? It is under the umbrella of another universal rights, human rights. People can you can follow the constitutional rights and still be people can violate universal human rights. For example, if you're the judge, like either who doesn't recuse himself will probably. Oh, and there's quid pro quo. That was fun. The whole Donald Trump saga. So yeah, judge might try to be against you and play hardball, but then you have to point out, well, essentially that's what Will Hunting did in that scene, right? He was pointing out he was questioning the legal foundation, and again, what is the legal foundation, right? But I guess beautiful thing about this country is, even though our rights are being taken away, is like we can still question the foundation. Yeah. And even title, and you can the pill pull, hair splitting analysis on clause, like Title 4 or whatever. You can just focus on that. If an expert legal lawyer could just dig on that. What is the correlation between that, and you can just focus on that but I don't think they'll be wasting time. So yeah, that's one of my dreams, represent myself in court and win, but you have to build up to it. It's like you can run marathon or triathlon. You have to win small battles in court and get. But let's talk about legal terms. What are other legal terms out there? There's senior droit de seigneur, that was probably English, feudal system, with the right to marry your brother's wife or something. Is that Jewish? I don't know. Or is that droit de seigneur is, I think, a French term. And there are some other rights like that. I don't know why. I remember that from a trivia Quizlet, like a flashcards. Habeas corpus. We okay. Well, habeas means body. No, sorry. Corpus means body. Habeas means free. I don't know. Essentially, it's like you human beings are free, and you can, as what's the Rousseau said, everywhere man is in chains. And man is born free, but everywhere he's in chains, and essentially that's what we are like. And so essentially, I guess you submit discovery and yeah, and exhibit, and you go to the court, and you do your introductory speech, and then you I guess cross examination other parties' evidence. They cross examine you. You go back and forth, and then finally everyone is familiar with this common legal like sort of what do you call that structure the in court, like from all the legal shows. And there's some preponderance of evidence, like beyond reasonable doubt, preponderance of evidence. Suppose I'm sitting here, there are fucking blades, bloody knives, fucking everything around me, and even my DNA sample, that's like preponderance of evidence, even though I'm not holding the knife or something, and there's some stupid guy beaten up or something. I don't know. I don't know why I said stupid guy. Because you gotta be careful. People are so paranoid nowadays. It's like people would think I'm actually sitting here with fucking knives and shit. But anyways, the preponderance evidence is like there's actual preponderance of evidence around you enough to tie you, unless you have to prove beyond reasonable doubt that those preponderance evidence doesn't necessarily correlate to your act, or you cannot tie them, link them to you. Yeah, that's why, like, this how the lawyer said that if you smoke weed and you get stopped in your car, not to open the fucking window, because they can pin you down. It's like essentially, we all watch Law Abiding Citizen, how it's not what you know, it's what you can prove in court. It's all about how they can pin you down with something. And I hate to mention this gory example, but I think I read in Nolo's book how one guy had I think a dead body in his. Again, I'm not promoting anything. I don't know, promoting you. So subscribe to your local laws, abide by your local laws. But this is for illustration purpose. So this guy had a dead body in his trunk, but it was illegal search and seizure, and they couldn't pin him down. So that's how legal. That's why lawyers usually use those tactics to wiggle out of straitjacket, literally, so to speak. And yeah, but I don't think you can. I mean, really, even if you're limitless, do nootropic. I don't think you can. You can. There's no way, because that's the difference between doing nootropic and book learning, Black's Law Dictionary or whatever. Is that your opponent, lawyer, expert lawyer, even though he might not be on smart drugs, but because he has been doing it for so long, 30, 40 years, to him is second nature. And that's essentially the difference between playing with someone who's sober, who's chess against you on like caffeined up. Still, his cooler head will prevail. So that's why. But yeah, going back to legal terms, what else are there? What other terms are there? Oh God, alibi, motive is one. Light motive. What is light motive? And the motive is also in coda, in a musical composition, motive. That's the recurring theme. So motive, you have to prove. I mean, motive is one factor. What else? What are some other important concepts? Oh, there was another one. Shit, I forgot. I mean, it's on the tip of my tongue, where it's all about. Oh God. Oh God. Because I was doing research, a lot of research, not research on my own for a personal case, and it was just. But I remember something. Oh, I don't know. But that was an important concept. I don't know if it was discovery. No, I don't know. Oh, and then there's precedence. Precedence is an important factor. Like, I mean, if you run through a traffic light and they let you go, and then it says in like a tremendous precedence that because they let you go, then they have to let everyone other go subsequently or something like that. And there's of course the double jeopardy. They cannot. I think that's the Bill Cosby thing case where they were trying to fight double jeopardy. You cannot not sue someone, like you can try someone for same same crime, right? And then someone may exploit that, I guess, abuse that, and that's another legal loophole. I'm teaching you to be a criminal. And again, no, I said that just in jest. Again, don't misconstrue or misinterpret my words. Disclaimer. There's also the right to a speedy trial, right to a jury trial, and we have jury duty. We have that, civic duty. Wow, this goes on to show how much I don't know. I mean, the Dunning-Kruger syndrome is high with me. I overestimated my abilities of my legal knowledge. But again, I'm not privy to like books or resources at hand right now. So obviously, once you get your tools in hand, you can paint masterpieces like Picasso. So what other concept? Well, basically in America, it has to do with amendments and everything, Bill of Rights, which are not, I mean, absolutely non-violable. Even though they've been, it's on name only. They can take your rights in any day, whoever, government or cabal. What else? Self-defense, insanity. Those are other legal defenses. Um, Rigor mortis is not a legal term, but beyond reasonable doubt. I mean, that's where they wanna, exploit that. Like, that's when you exploit the crack in that. They have to prove beyond reasonable doubt. Again, what's that? Even the some justice said, I don't know how to define pornography. I know when I see it. It's kind of like that. It's like, and judge's decision is final unless you want to appeal that in Supreme Court. And so yeah, so if you can win, and then there's also those something called civil lawsuit, criminal lawsuit, punitive, and then you got your codes, municipality codes, and like 211, I think is, what's that? Bank robbery? No, yeah, robbery, not bank robbery. It was 211. Murder is 187. Remember those radio codes? 187, 211. There's a movie 187. 211 and murder, red rum, 187. So we got those, the codes, cause in the court they have to prove beyond reasonable doubt that you have, to the letter, you violated the law. Like, that's why if you park in a again, I'm not a lawyer, but if you park in disabled space and there were no signs or anything, the placard was, I guess, defaced or barely visible, or like, then you can probably use that in your to fight. Or like another one was street sweeping sign. They have to clearly has to be posted, right? Or you can probably fight that street sweeping ticket, I guess. I tried to argue that one of the case, but I didn't win. So I settled. It was, well, quote unquote settled, because it was an infraction. It was a toll violation. I said, how do you prove I was in the car? They couldn't, because they didn't have camera. So they just cited my, I think what happened was, license plate. They took the license plate, the camera. So that's another legal loophole, I guess. Again, I'm not encouraging you break the law or anything. This is just for legal illustration purpose. Yeah, so I guess, because as much as I'm anti-academic, but the only way you want to master law is by actually you have to attend school. I mean, there's no way around it. I mean, just like with medicine or flight or anything, you have to go to school. I mean, these are not something like history you can study on your own, or some other topics. Yeah, these are serious issues, subjects, topics. You cannot self-master these. Back in the days, Leibniz or Goethe, they used to, they were saying they were lawyer. There was those polymath, Renaissance man. They were lawyer and whatnot. And even in modern times, we have all the super intelligent people from MIT, who also has law degree or something. But it's specialization. I mean, sorry, jack of all trades, almost even master of all trades is. It's impossible nowadays, because given the spate of knowledge and the abundance of knowledge, over influx of knowledge. But yeah, even free speech, like there was another one I was studying in the case where the guy was standing peaceful protesting, and he had his name up, and he was saying that even though it was free speech protest, But and he was saying, "Oh, this guy is a criminal. He's a murderer. He's not whatnot." I don't know what case, particular case it was, but and the guy argued that even though it's free speech, he's slandering. So even free speech is not, that's debatable. Like how much free speech is allowed. That's why we have free speech zone in college and whatnot. But Alan Shore, now he came back. See how he comes back? Alan Shore, yeah. So we all saw that. That was a beautiful show, Boston Legal and Practice. Like how he could basically, that's the genius lawyer. How he could basically extricate anyone he wanted, no matter what. I mean, criminals and then there was the Terry Shiva case, or sort of on the shadow of that case. They presented how that was a moving speech he gave before Supreme Court. And there's contempt of law and ex parte, another smattering of legal terms. Ex parte, like the sidebar. Oh, and then the objection. And then you have to know your objections. Objection, badgering, objection, hostile, witness is being hostile, objection, leading. Basically it's all common sense, because if you go back to all those Roman and Greek, the guy, the sophistry and whatnot, the guy, what is his name? Oh shit, the Greek guy, the Greek philosopher. I learned in logic class like how um, this guy took law lessons from this another Greek guy, and then he didn't pay him back. And the agreement was the first time he wins, he's gonna pay him back. But he didn't pay him back, and the guy sued him, and the guy said, "Well, I didn't have so if I win the case, then I have to pay you back. But if I win the case, then I win the case." And there's another catch-22 paradox, Ouroboros, legal Ouroboros, snake devouring itself. So, and essentially even law, like law, no law is word of God, or even like Kios ipsos custody or whatever. I should actually memorize that, because I keep mentioning it and I can't mention it. But basically, who guards the guardsman? Who what's the basis of foundation of law? What is the foundation of logical laws? And you can just spend hours and hours on this, and legal citations, and I think I'll end on that note. Sorry I couldn't make it any entertaining. There is a dearth of my knowledge in this topic, and I guess that's a good way. The good way to find out, when I do podcasts, I find out how much is basically I am unloading all the stuff from my head onto this podcast auditory knowledge, and now I find out what I don't know, and it's kind of like brainstorming basically. Yeah. So thank you for listening. I hope you have a fantastic day.